This is Frida Liu. You're watching The Shift Asia. In 2023, Renuka Sena, co-founder and CEO of Proficio, was appointed as the national expert for the World Summit Awards for WSA. WSA is a global competition recognizing digital innovations that positively impact society. It connects startups, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders across 182 UN member states, promoting digital solutions that address local challenges and advance the UN SDGs. So every year, upwards of 900 nominations are submitted by national experts from around the world, and only 5 global winners from 8 categories are selected by a global jury. The national winner for the Learning and Education category for 2024 was Pandai. So Pandai is an AI-driven education app that personalizes learning experiences, helping students achieve better grades through tailored feedback and gamified quizzes. I'm here with Khairul, Anwar, Mohamad, Zaki, the founder and CEO. Very nice to meet you. I know the last time we spoke, it was not face-to-face.
Yes.
Because it was called COVID. Now, I know you've been involved in education for close to 20 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you so passionate about this area?
All right. For me, I truly believe education is everything. It's the foundation for the future, and I've been in education for quite a while, but I'm lucky because it's not just me; it's me and my co-founders,
Right.
and. My co-founders, all my school were my schoolmates when we were growing up. So we went to the same school, same batch as well. And another similarity between the 4 of us is that we actually not only went to the same school, but we had parents who were teachers ourselves.
I see.
So we were very lucky. We did not come from a very well-to-do family, but we had a teacher in the house, each of us.
Okay.
So we got lucky. We get access to good material, good school, so education.
24 hours,
Yeah,
but
24
4 or 7, huh?
Yes, so not many other kids get this, but we were lucky. So there was always an emphasis on education in the family, right? So because of that, we got lucky to go to good school. We got scholarship to study abroad and all that. So when we came back to the country separately, right? We were working in different multinational companies, and then we met up again. That's when we decided that maybe we should do something together in education. So I would say that each one of us saw firsthand how education can actually transform one's life.
Right.
So that's something which is huge for us, and even until today, it's something that we're very happy, to wake up every day and work for.
Wow.
Something we were very passionate about.
Okay, and how have you seen education in the country change in these past 2 decades, right? For good or for bad?
All right. Oh, loaded question.
Loaded.
Okay. I was recently. I was just appointed as one of the contributors towards the National Education Reform Study. So it's a study commissioned by the government to look into the new education blueprint until 2035. So there's something new that I learned is that throughout the years there are at least 22 acts. And more than 51 policies that contribute along the lines of education in the country.
Okay.
So the education landscape in the country is very, very complex, right?
Yep.
So a lot of stuff being introduced over the years, and because of that, it's a very, very complex nature. So obviously, when we talk about the curriculum side, content has changed a lot more technology and a lot of project-based learning, collaboration, all that. But there has been a lot of influence from outside as well. For example, like parents, like we are, right? So parents now are more involved in education. Yes, there are some parents who want their kid to just get the same education like everyone else, but there are those parents who want the best out that the education can offer, right? To realize the fullest potential for their kids. And it's now there's a wide spectrum of not only the student, but the parents as well.
Right.
So yes, in the past we had like PIBG or Parent Teachers Association, right? But now there are national bodies and organizations that try to get their voice heard. They're very vocal as well. And on top of that, there's other stakeholders as well. Everything from the industry to universities to civil society and other organizations that want to contribute and also influence education in many ways. So it's very complex. The government has done a lot in the past in terms of changing the education, and the tricky part is that because we have many standards, different languages, different types of schools,
education, types of schools, right?
and different needs as well, it's hard, and what I like what the government is trying to do is to allow the schools and the teachers to decide on their own, like
Okay.
what kind of education is best given to the local students that
Right.
they serve,
Right.
because we have wide spectrum, like the
Yeah.
urban kids, they are,
Yes.
more advanced. The rural kids cannot even get, stationaries, for example, right?
Yeah.
So the teachers and the schools know. That's why now it's more emphasis on school-based assessment rather than national-based assessment. Obviously, there's always room for improvement, and it's hard because for a startup like ours, right, like Pandai, we're a small setup. We can afford to do try error. We can afford to make changes.
Right.
We can afford to pivot, make mistakes, and all that. And a large organization as Ministry of Education, even though they try to do a lot of initiatives, it's hard for a large organization such as that. And hopefully, what we do can also contribute somehow together with what they do and complement them.
Okay. And I think I'm the ideal parent for every teacher. I've never attended a single PIBG.
You're very
Never.
different from most parents
I
nowadays.
have no time, right? Okay, anyway, what do you hope to achieve with Pandai, right, to complement the education system?
All right. So Pandai is relatively new, started in 2020, even though my co-founders and I, we've been in education for quite a while. But previously, we were doing very traditional stuff.
Okay.
A lot of face-to-face program, a lot of paper-based program. Like when we were young, we would use our old car to go to school, do programs and all that, right? And even though now the entity has grown, still running, by the way, by our team, but we realized that because it's face-to-face, we cannot reach too many students at the same time, and then we have to charge a little bit more because we have to be physically there, right?
Yeah.
With technology, we realize there's a lot more that we can do. We can reach a lot more students in new and exciting ways, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to do at Pandai, to reach the masses. And Pandai is not a substitute to what the students are doing in school. So the students would typically go to school like they normally do, but after school, instead of using paper-based stuff to do revision, for example, they can use Pandai instead, with AI, with gamification, with personalization.
So they feel like they're playing a game.
Yes, you're right.
But they're actually learning at the
They're
same
actually
time.
learning.
Don't tell them that they're actually learning. So I guess, when I was going to ask how do the students learn differently, so it's a lot of gamification.
Yes. A lot of them, now the kids now they are digitally native. Right? They grow up with iPads and all that, right? And they are more open towards all these digital initiatives as well. And what we've seen is that students are already spending time on all these devices, gadgets, but maybe without Pandai they are watching movies or playing games, right? So what we're trying to do to get them to use Pandai to study. So the difference is that one of the key difference at Pandai is that without Pandai in school, right, students would typically get report cards, right?
Yeah.
And the report card will show the students' marks, the grades, and all that, which is useful because students can know where they are in terms of their performance. But we realize that students are still confused how to get better, how to get from, say, a 75 to 100, how to get from a C to an A. So at Pandai, we break down the performance in detail by, subject, by topic, by difficult level, by thinking skill, etc. So Pandai is telling the kid, for example, if the kid's name is Freda, if you say Pandai is telling Freda, you're getting C for science, but chapter 1 and 2 you're doing very, very well. Chapter 3 and 4 you're slightly weaker. And maybe chapter 10 is where you're weaker at, you're failing at, for example, right? So the student knows where they are better at and weaker at. And of course, at Pandai, we have recommendation engine and all that to help them even more.
I see. Okay, so at least now I understand, right? I want to improve, but I don't know how there's a way.
True.
How did you know I got a C in science? Anyway, what have been some of your success stories?
Okay. At Pandai, obviously, we look at the metrics like the number of students. There are more than 1 million registered students now, hundreds of thousands of active students who are using Pandai actively. And we have good ratings. Like if you look at our Play Store and our Apple App Store ratings, it's like 4.8 out of 5 and all that. But what we're proud of first is that 92% of our users actually improve their academic performance if they use Pandai actively for just 2 months.
Right.
And another thing that we're proud of is that we also cater towards the masses, even the underprivileged students. So now, more than 30% of our users actually come from rural areas. So there are 2 reasons for this. One, because we develop an offline mode. So even students with intermittent internet or no internet can also use some parts of Pandai. Without the need of climbing trees and all that to get internet connection. And the second one is started working with other organizations to reach out to all these rural areas. So very, very happy to see that. and even with gamification, like the way they use it very different. Like for the urban kids, they would collect the coins and then convert it into like tangible vouchers, things like that Pandai offers, things like everything from Yao to T-Life to ZUS Coffee to even game credits like Roblox and Mobile Legend and Valorant, things that obviously the parents can control. But for the rural kids, what we've seen is that they get the opportunity to use Pandai, they collect enough coins, and instead of converting into fun reward and self-gratifying rewards such as FMB or Lazada or Grab or Shopee and things like that, or the games, right? They would convert the coin into telco credits and then use the credits to subscribe to the internet for the next month in order to use Pandai again. So when we see the uses of these kids, right, we were initially a bit worried that if we subsidize the rural kids, right, the underprivileged, and would they appreciate something like Pandai? But what we've seen now, the rural kids use more of Pandai than the urban kids.
They're more Pandai.
They are more Pandai lah, basically. They just need the opportunity lah, basically.
Right, and that's the thing, because education is something very close to me. I think that everybody is a human right for education. That everybody should have equal access to education. So this is great news, right? So there'll be more Pandai. So there are also other learning platforms. Right? How would you say yours is different?
All right. So first of all, even though we're in EdTech, right? For us, education comes first. And that's why if you talk to the students would rather pay for a lower quality piece of paper, which is Xerox, sengit with low ink and printers and all that, as long as the content makes sense for them. Either it's like very good notes or passive question, hotspot question, things like that, rather than something which is super canggih, super sophisticated, comes from Europe with bells and whistles, but do not meet the curriculum, right? So the emphasis has also been on education side of things. So, and at Pandai, we focus on the interactive stuff because a lot of offerings out there, they've either focused on hour-long videos or, live classes and things like that. So we believe if the student watches an hour-long video, we cannot learn much, whether the student is paying attention, whether the student is consuming the material, understands it and all that. Whereas at Pandai, we have a lot of interactive stuff. So we focus on the quizzes, the flashcards, the quick notes and all that. So we understand, for example, which area they are weaker at, stronger at, how many attempts they need, how long do they spend and things like that. And that's the key difference in how we're able to understand not only their performance and but their behavior as well.
Okay, how does this help enhance what's already available in our education system, having helped over 1 million students?
All right. So initially, Pandai is introduced to help students outside of school, right? So we wanted to complement what the schools were already doing. But now, what we've seen is that students and schools have started to adopt Pandai in the actual school environment. For example, last year, we did a very interesting sandbox project with the government where 5 schools were handpicked by the Ministry of Education to use Pandai in a period of 6 months to test the efficacy of Pandai. So students were given devices, teachers were given devices, were given Pandai account, and they would use Pandai during actual school hours. And the project was very, very successful, not only in terms of the outcome of their academic performance, but also in terms of their interest towards education, the increase of confidence, something that we didn't expect. And it's something that we hope that we'll keep doing, not only in the country, but outside as well. So we've launched in our neighboring countries as well. So in Brunei, we're doing some, it's launched there, so students in Brunei can also use Pandai based on the curriculum. We are present in Singapore, we're doing some early stage work in Indonesia as well. So hopefully what we do will be taken into the mainstream, into the school system. It's obviously outside of our control, but hopefully we'll do that in the future.
Right. Let's say it's 10 years from now, 2035, right? And one of your students comes and visits you. What would this young person be like? What's that vision of them?
All right. This is a very interesting question. Never got asked this before. Okay, I would hope that this person would be a very confident.
Say someone from the rural areas, right? Okay.
Someone who's very, very confident, someone who's very independent learner, someone who enjoys problem solving, someone who's an active learner as well, who seeks new knowledge, and hopefully he's a professional in whatever capacity, whatever industry and all that. And hopefully he or she remembers that Pandai also helped them when they were in school, when they were young.
Ah.
But it's interesting that you ask this when you mention rural areas, right? When we do programs in rural areas, right? Sometimes it's not just the technical ability, the learning, okay, we have this content, you learn this.
Yeah.
But it's also the inspiration that we can give them, the success story, right?
Right.
You break the glass ceiling. So, for example, if you help just one girl in a Orang Asli town or whatever, right? The first person who get into university, right? We just help one person and that's it, the one-off thing, right?
Right.
And quickly after that, suddenly the next year, suddenly the cousin will get university.
Okay.
The neighbors will get university. The younger sibling will get university because they see, oh, that girl can do it, I can as well, right? So it's important to reach out to them, not only because, helping them directly, but indirectly creates all the ripple effect as well.
Right. And I want to ask, because I know like you've got funding from very interesting places, from Y Combinator to Harvard and all that, right? What are your planned enhancements for Pandai this year?
Okay. We're lucky. We've gotten some investment from abroad and all that. Very helpful for us in terms of taking a little bit more risk in terms of our product development. So a lot of our effort actually goes into the product itself. We're a bit different. Sometimes our investors also ask us, right, because they pour millions of ringgit, right, from different continents into Pandai. And like you mentioned, Harvard as well, and Y Combinator and others. So they also ask, why don't we pour money in AMP or advertising promotion, right? Because we don't have billboards, we don't go on TV, right? We get invited by you and WSA. It's a privilege for us to share our story, but we don't do this often. So we think it's, yes, if we pour money in marketing, then we get a lot of users. But if the product is not good in the first place, they'll churn anyway, right? So a lot of effort has gone into product development. So we're be working a lot more in terms of our content. Number two, a lot of more AI and technology that we have incorporated into what we do. And number three, also expansion into other areas. But we're totally obsessed with the stickiness of the app, improving the app, right? And that's why in the first year, in terms of monthly retention, it was just like 60%. So of 140 actually churned the next month. But now we're around 94% or so. So meaning our product should be able to speak for itself, kind of way.
Okay, all right. Is there anything else you want to add that I haven't asked?
No, I'm just proud to be here. The last time we talked was some time ago at a different situation platform. And it was during COVID as well. Happy to be here talking to you face to face, and I'm just honored to be here on behalf of the whole Pandai team. Usually, a lot of people see me speaking alone, but there are hundreds of people contributing to Pandai behind the scene. Not only the internal team, but teachers, publishers, university researchers contributing Pandai behind the scenes. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who has been supporting Pandai all this while. Hopefully we continue to grow and also create the as much impact that we can, not only in Malaysia but in the region as well.
And congratulations for the work that you do for education.
Thank you.
You've been watching The Shift Asia. I'm Frida Liu.